I do approve of that model. By my having served in my capacity for the last 5 years as a release time president, I was able to go into a lot of the neediest schools and talk to the people there. And having been a classroom teacher and worked in some of those neediest schools and then finishing out my career in the less neediest schools, I see the difference. I see the difference in the materials that you get versus the materials that you don't get. And my thing is, there's even a difference in the kind of instruction that's delivered there. So I feel like in order for our most neediest schools to come up to par, we've got to tailor our teaching in a different manner. We got to get away from the drill and kill. You got to get away from all of the workbooks, because I tell you, on the other side of town, we don't use workbooks. We did not use them. Children were taught to think creatively. The only ancillary materials we used with our reading series was our writing materials. And if we had ESL students, those materials, because you had to work with them in the small group to bring them up to par, versus being in some of our neediest schools where it is expected we use every piece of the materials there except the writing and the creative thinking part of our basics. But I do see the need to keep the classes small, because as a 5th grade teacher, without anyone coming in to assist, when I was in a small setting, well, I never had less than 24 kids, but still I was able to reach a majority of them. What's different now from that is that in a lot of those schools, you only have level 1s and 2s and some 3s and maybe a smattering of 4s. And if they're 4s, they are low 4s. In the settings that I was in when I was in the classroom, I had students who were level 4s who could be my models. I had good level 3s who could be my models. And when I'm working with 1s, then I had some 4s and 3s who could be, doing peer tutoring with my 2s. So, in our schools now, we don't have many models for our students. So the size must remain small so that that teacher, and hopefully if they get an hour's worth of help from a TA, they can come in there and do some assistance with them.
What about material resources? At this point, I believe the board has eliminated the differentiated materials.
I believe every school needs to have basic materials, and a lot of our schools don't have that because they can't afford it in their own budgets. I look at a lot of those schools, and though they have Title I funds, they don't get to be able to say what they need to purchase with their Title I funds. They are told from someone else what your school is going to have with your Title I funds. And to me, it is a sad state when you walk into a Title I school and you see all of these whiteboards and you talk to the teachers and they say, I don't have programs to run them. They won't let me bring my own laptop in to run it. So it's not doing you any good just to have it there for show, and you can't utilize it. And I'm seeing that that's a lot of the cases here. And it's because principals are really not given the autonomy to decide what is best needed for their schools. They're told. So once again, we get that top-down policy.